I've always pushed the limits, and in downhill, it's a very dangerous sport, and anything can happen. And because I push the limits, I crash. And I've been injured more times than I would like to admit to myself even, but those are the cards that I've been dealt in my life, and I'm going to play my cards the best that I can. No, life's not perfect. Nothing is perfect in life, and that's just where I seem to always be. But as many times as I crash, I've always gotten back up. As many times as I've failed, I've always won. So thankfully, actually, all of my experience in my life has given me a lot of confidence in knowing what my body can and cannot do. I've been in this position before. I know how to handle it. I've been on the world stage before. I know how to handle that. So everything together, even though I don't want to be in this position, I know how to be in this position, and I can handle it.
Are you still aiming for the gold match? And I also see you have your coach, Swindal, also has had severe injuries in his career. How are you using him to go through this?
I mean, I'm leaning on everyone on my team. My physical therapists, my doctors, my coaches, my trainer, everyone is working as hard as they can to get me to a place where I feel confident and I'm prepared to ski my best. And of course, you know, what I did today on the hill is not necessarily a great test. I still need to do the downhill training run. But I also know what my knee has felt like with previous injuries in the gym and what it's felt like during all the physical tests. And I can say that I feel a lot better right now than I have in the past. I feel a lot better right now than I did in 2019 for the last World Championships. And I still got a medal there with no LCL and 3 tibial plateau fractures. So, like I said, this is not an unknown for me. I've done this before. I wish I wasn't in this position, but this is where I am, and I will do the best I can. And of course, like you said, I need all my coaches, and Axel is someone that I've leaned on throughout the season, and he knows the position that I'm in as well. So I think that'll definitely help me and give me confidence when I'm standing in the starting gate.
We're just going to use the microphone, please. So there is
Hi,
another
Lindsey.
one. Yeah, you can go.
Cara Banks, NBC. I'm sorry to hear this news, as I'm sure as everyone. Given the latest developments, which races do you still plan to compete in? Is that schedule unchanged? And what's your plan for the training for downhill, given there's 3 days to choose from?
I don't know yet. I have to take it day by day. My goal is obviously right now the downhill. I have to see how it feels. If it's stable and I feel confident, I'll continue to race. That is my goal, obviously. But I can't tell you that answer until I actually ski 85 miles an hour, and then I'll tell you.
Hi, Lindsey. Savannah Sellers with NBC. You've spoken in the past about your fear of regret, like when you came back to the sport initially. How much of that feeling, that fear, drives this right now, the opportunity right in front of you to ski here in Cortina, and to regret missing that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a week away from something that, well, first of all, I never thought was possible. So this is all icing on the cake. I never expected to be here. I felt like this was an amazing opportunity to close out my career in a way that I wanted to. Hasn't gone exactly the way I wanted to, but I don't want to have any regrets. You know, I'm here. I'm still here. I think I'm still able to fight. I think I'm still able to try, and I will try as long as I have the ability to. I will not go home regretting not trying. I will do everything in my power to be in that starting gate.
Can you pass it to him? Thank you.
Hi, Lindsey. Alessandro, here. Here.
He's right there.
Here.
Oh, sorry. Jesus.
If you had to put a number, like if you were 100% before the injury, from a scale to 0 to 100, how would you rate your fitness at the moment?
I mean, my fitness is 100%, but that doesn't mean that my body is 100%. I can't give you percentage of that. I mean, I'm still strong. You know, it's only been a few days. So if you're looking at scientifically, you don't lose strength that quickly. So as long as my swelling is down and my muscles are firing, my strength is what it was a few days ago.
Lindsey, Amanda from Swedish newspaper Aftonbladet. How was it for you when you got the results about the ACL? And are you in any pain? Will you be skiing on painkillers or shots? Or
nope, I am not in pain. It was painful initially after the crash, and which is why I had concern, which is why I went via helicopter to the hospital. I had a feeling it was bad, but I held out hope until I saw the MRI in front of me. But I haven't cried. I have not deviated from my plan. I've been determined. And, you know, normally in the past, there's always a moment where you break down and you realize the severity and of things and that your dreams are slipping through your fingers, but I didn't have that this time. I'm not letting this slip through my fingers. I'm going to do it. End of story. So I'm not letting myself go down that path. I'm not crying. My head is high. I'm standing tall. And I'm going to do my best. And whatever the result is, that's what it is. But I can never say I didn't try.
Lindsey, over here.
Thanks.
Savannah Hamilton, CBC. In a recent, media piece, you did the Players Tribune. You said that you're still a girl from Minnesota that loves to ski. And I think there's nothing that that showcases that than skiing on course. When you think about representing your country, especially your state, what does it mean right now, with everything going on in Minnesota, to be the embodiment of the word hope?
I mean, I have family and friends in Minnesota. It's where I grew up, and my heart is incredibly heavy for everyone at home. And I realize the magnitude of the position that I'm in right now. And I think the best thing I can do is to do exactly what I said: stand tall and have hope and show the world what America is, who we are as people, because we are more than what's happening right now. We are so much more than that. And the best thing the best thing I can do is represent us well. And it is a privilege to be here. I don't take that lightly, and I always do my best to make our country proud, and I hope I can do that in these games.
Hi, Lindsey, Swedish television. Can you describe the feeling of going up there today? Were you anxious, nervous, or just excited to be able to actually try it again?
I mean, every time I get to go on the mountain, I'm excited. And today was, I was full of hope and excitement, and I was happy that I was in the position to even try, you know, and I was even happier when I was finished because it felt really good. And my team is smiling. We're all very hopeful and all very optimistic.
Thank you.
Hi, Lindsey. I'm really sorry to hear what happened to you, but you're still smiling. How do you keep your confidence up?
You know, this isn't my first rodeo. It's hard for me to lose faith in myself and what I know I'm capable of. I know my body very well, so I have a high degree of confidence in myself, and it doesn't matter to me if everyone thinks that, you know, maybe I can't do this with no ACL, but I still believe in myself, and that makes me smile. That makes me confident. That makes me happy. And no matter what, I'm going to try my best. So what is there to be sad about? I'm still able to be here. I'm still skiing. I'm still living the dream at 41. And that makes me happy that I have that chance.
Lindsey, Lauren Tomazi from 9 Australia. your comeback, your Olympic comeback, and this never say die attitude, what message do you want that to send to young children, young skiers around the world?
I mean, I think overall in this whole journey, you know, this whole comeback has really just been about always believing in yourself. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are. If you believe and you work hard, anything is possible. And I think a lot of times people's minds are closed and they don't see what's possible because they don't look. And I've always had my head up and my eyes open and my heart open for any opportunity that lies in front of me. And I hope that everyone realizes that they can do it too. You know, maybe they should have an ACL. But I think that, you know, through hard work and determination and hope and self-confidence, belief, there's nothing standing in your way.
Hi, Lindsey. Ben from TNT Sports, Warner Brothers Discovery. This has the makings of one of the most extraordinary chapters ever. Where would it rank in your career if you do manage to make it to the start gate and maybe the finish line as well with a medal?
Well, I will make it to the starting gate. But it's already been one of the best chapters of my life so far. I think this would be the best comeback I've done so far. Definitely the most dramatic, that's for sure. But I think if you look at everything I've been through in my life, in my skiing career, in my life in general, you know, I've been through a lot, and this is another amazing chapter. I don't know if it's the best chapter, but it's a pretty damn good comeback if I can pull it off.
Hi, Lindsey. Andrew Dampf, Associated Press. Good to see you again. I saw that you visited your old coach. I don't know if it was yesterday or you posted that yesterday. I just wanted to talk about the emotions of that. And then I just wanted to also ask, do you think maybe eventually you might want titanium in your left knee as well?
Yeah, I definitely will. But I think that's still a few years away. First, I have to fix my ACL, and then I can do the partial knee replacement on my left knee. But yeah, I went to see Eric on my way here. He is just outside of Innsbruck, and yeah, I didn't cry for myself, but that's the only time I've cried, and I miss him, and I know exactly what he would say to me right now, and it definitely gives me additional hope, and knowing that I know that he would support me, my mom would support me, my grandparents would support me. Unfortunately, I have a lot of people upstairs that are looking out for me, and I need all the help that I can get right now, so I think he's with me, and so is my family.
Hi, I'm Jennifer with the Associated Press. Right next to us. Sorry, Jesus. Just a non-ACL question, but I'm a climate reporter. You've spoken out about climate change, the future of winter sports. I'm just wondering if you could say anything about what you're thinking about that, or what message you would want to give to people who, you know, are thinking about climate action and those topics as these games are unfolding.
Yeah, I mean, I think Progressive the Olympics has been very active in trying to combat climate change and how big of a footprint we have through the games. But, you know, as a ski racer, I've seen that firsthand, what global warming has done. I've been skiing on glaciers since I was 9 years old, and most of the glaciers that I used to ski on are pretty much gone. So that's very real, and it's very apparent to us. And but I think, like I said, the Olympics has done a really good job to try to combat that, and I encourage everyone to do whatever they can in their own small way.
There.
Lindsey here, right here. John Henderson, Colorado Public Radio. How has your perspective on fear changed since...
Hey, Vicky. Well, as you can see, as you heard that from Lindsey Vonn, she said essentially that she ruptured her ACL, and she's got some bone bruising. That is, of course, the bad news. The good news is that Lindsey Vonn said that she will participate. She will start in the downhill race that she has planned for February the 8th. Now, despite the fact that she is, of course, not in so much pain, but her chances, she said, of course, are now diminished because of the problems she's going through, because of the injury that she sustained after the fall on Friday. She said that today she went back skiing. She said she's full of hope, happy to be able to try, and even happier when she ended that trial run today, because she felt good with the help of a knee brace. She said she will be able to compete. Now, she says also that every time, we know about Lindsey Vonn's stamina and her comebacks. She's come back already from a massive injury that essentially stopped her for 7 years. She retired, and then after 7 years, she came back stronger than ever. She's been winning 2 World Cup races since she came back, and she was on the podium in World Cup races 7 out of 8 times. But this, of course, she said, will be the most dramatic comeback ever. I mean, of course, participating in the Winter Olympics with an ACL that just broke, I mean, it's not easy for anyone. She also said that, again, she's been in this position before, as I mentioned, that she'll be able to handle it, and that, this Winter Olympics essentially was the icing of the cake. She was coming back. She was hoping to become she's still hoping to become the oldest alpine skier to win a medal at the Winter Olympics ever in the history of the Olympics. The chances are diminished, but she's not giving up. She said that, of course, she doesn't want to have regrets. She wants to at least try. She doesn't want to go home without trying. She says she's not in pain. It was painful right after she fell. She felt that it was going to be bad, and that's why she was airlifted to the hospital. And then the MRI, of course, gave the results that her ACL is ruptured and she's got bone bruising. Now, she said, also, despite all that, she said she's not crying. That she's standing tall. She never wants to say that she didn't try. She also said she wants to show the world what America is, which is, she said, much more than what we're seeing right now. She's also said she's still living the dream. At 41, as I mentioned, she could become, if she wins a medal, the oldest alpine skier ever to win a medal in the Winter Olympics. And it will all be, and as I said before, this is probably the line of that presser and one of the statements of the Winter Olympics, which hasn't started yet, but probably will be. Well, she said essentially that this will be the most dramatic comeback of her career, Vicky.
Absolutely. She was so high-spirited, Claudio. It's good to join you from New York here. I think what struck me is how she talked about the fact she's been in this position before. She's been injured. She's been hurt. She's still had to race. She said unequivocally she will be in the gates on Sunday. What does it look like between now, 4 days from her injury on Friday, to getting to Sunday? What is the rehab? What is the physical therapy? What are they going to do to condition her and make sure that she does have the best race possible?
Well, I can tell you one thing. I did rupture my ACL. I'm not an athlete, but that stopped me for a year. I couldn't walk. I was in braces. But, of course, she's an athlete. And it's amazing even to consider for someone like me who has ruptured an ACL that she could even put their skis on a week after, well, yeah, literally a week after she ruptured it on Friday. Her race is on Sunday. Vicky, she's the queen of comebacks at this point. Even if she doesn't win a medal, I mean, the way that she's standing tall, the way that she's trying, the positivity that she's portraying, I mean, that deserves a gold medal in itself, Vicky.
Absolutely, Claudia. As she says, she has a lot of faith and confidence in herself, and she's not going to let this slip through her fingers. Claudia Lavanga with the very latest on Lindsey Vonn's condition and her vow to be in the starting gates on Sunday in her quest to become the oldest alpine skier to win a medal at the Olympics. Be sure to stay right here, right with us on NBC News Now. We will bring you the very latest on this breaking story and the other news throughout the day. Your news continues right now.
Threatening to hold the Clintons in contempt of Congress, but that vote is now delayed. The move coming overnight as both Democrats and Republicans were also